Thank you, Andy. Our next presenter is here from the city of Rochester to talk about a long-awaited project on Main Street between the Genesee River and the Liberty. Please join me in welcoming City Engineer Jim McIntosh.
Thank you. And since this is a day for announcements, I would like to make one that Vivian Zito just gave you a little while ago. It's from our good friend, former employee, Brent Garwood. New York State Homes and Community Renewal announced today that $10.185 million for the Sibley Building Phase 1 has been granted. First phase, the multi-phase building redevelopment of the historic Sibley Building. And that is something that we're all excited about and happy to see happen. And so the connection there is Main Street. And thanks to RDC for hosting this event. We're excited about anything that promotes downtown. They do a great job of it. On behalf of the mayor and the city of Rochester, I have to be allowed to update you on our ongoing Main Street revitalization. The completion of the RDRTA transit facility has given us an opportunity to reimagine Main Street so that it will once again become the vibrant center of life downtown. However, downtown has changed significantly, and what configuration of Main Street will get us there? Thanks to Monroe County Library's photo images database, we have many examples from Main Street's past, and hopefully we can learn from it. So what will it take to bring Main Street back? You watch the volume. Is it the early 1980s version, prior to the current configuration with 2 lanes in each direction and parking on both sides? Is it this version, the streetcars, 2 very narrow lanes and parking? Bridge streets for traffic calming? Restoring the buildings on the Main Street Bridge so that we don't have to look at our greatest natural asset? I don't think so. Probably not. Main Street was certainly considered to be thriving in the mid-50s, parking in 2 lanes in each direction at that point in time. Did we bring back the test stripes to the 1950s? What was this for, anyway? But again, we had parking and 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. Maybe we could pay for these changes with revenue from parking violations. Hey, this title's from the archive. I'm just running with it as a funding. Or maybe this look of the 1980s before the renovation outside what was then called the first federal tower. And there was retail on Main Street. This was right at the end of the, when the bus facility was put on in the 1988 period. This was December of 88. Did that really kill Main Street? I don't think so. There were other social and demographic things that were going on, suburban sprawl, shopping malls, and a general flight from the city that all contributed. But now it's cool to be in the city again, and we have an opportunity to make our city one of the cool places to be. We have so many questions right now and no answers. And this is what the Main Street Streetscape project is all about. We do know that what is old is often new again. Take this photo taken over 60 years ago at the corner where Pike is building the Democrat and Chronicle space. In the intervening time, this was the Main Street entrance to Midtown Plaza. And we're back to the future at Main and Cortland. So how are we going to determine the right Main Street for Rochester? We have the 2007 Downtown Design Report, completed by the Community Design Center. It's full of ideas about Main Street. But back in 2007, we didn't have a complete street policy. Laurel Lake Master. And so we'll have to consider and likely add those amenities to the Main Street of the future.
Sorry, John.
We have received we also have the street design by Victor Dover, who came as one of the CDC's speaker series, and there's a lot of ideas about what the Main Street of the future could look like, and other successful Main Streets around the world. So we received $2.5 million in Transportation Alternatives Program grant, mostly as a result of clever grant writing by the city's transportation specialist, Eric Frisch, who's here in the audience, and a pedestrian wayfinding program developed by Doug Benson in the city's planning office that together allowed us to win a grant to essentially add parking and pedestrian signage to Main Street, something that would have been hard to go after without their clever grant writing skills. Our proposal for this work went out in April. We received 6 responses. Our goal is to submit a recommendation to the mayor and a submission for city council approval in June. It may be tough to see here, but this section of Main Street we're talking about under the grant is from the Liberty Pole to the river. The section completed that 1988 modernization went from Chestnut to Plymouth and was around $25 million in 1988 funds. So given our funding level for 1/4 essentially of that project, and that our funding is 1/10 of the 1988 dollars, we have some funding challenges. We're not anticipating to move curb lines except to provide for parking and changing out existing pavers for something a little more durable and easy to maintain. What the designers will be challenged to do, however, is come up with the best Main Street layout possible, so that as the funding becomes available, we can build on this template we are creating and return Main Street the vibrant center of revitalized downtown we can all be proud of. I'd like to turn the saying around and pose a question that is, I'm from the government and I want you to help me. So please, attend the public meetings. We'd love to hear your ideas. And thank you again for your commitment to downtown.